Hi, good evening. My name is Father Rayappa. I've been giving some speeches on adaptation, which is an important component of every living organism. In fact, a requirement for every organism in order to survive. So I think humans, we have ignored and we never even focused on that important component. The other two important components are consumption and reproduction. This is the components of life. Every organism consumes, every organism reproduces, and don't forget, every organism adapts. So there comes the trouble for humans. The first two we are doing wonderfully well, in fact. Too well. Consumption is too well. Reproduction, oh my God, can't even think about it. 7 billion people we have on the planet surface. And the third one, trouble. Third one, zero. No educational system, there is no school addresses that. And there is no education how to adapt. And in fact, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. Global warming, climate change. Now we are talking about our own extinction. So, in this context, what should we talk? Consumption? Reproduction? That is stupidity, our conscience tells automatically. But what is a reasonable thing to talk about? Adaptation. So I've been giving some lectures. I've been giving three important lectures, three types of adaptation. The first one was, I just finished it on YouTube. You can type Rayappa Adaptation Type 1. So in which I discuss about the physical side of or environmental side of adaptation, how a species is deprived of food and water in one environment, how that organism abandons that environment and goes and continues its survival in another environment where it could find food and water. That's a type 1. Type 2 is structural adaptation. That's also on YouTube. You type Rayappa adaptation. Type 2, in which I'm discussing about how DNA, our own building blocks of life, the whole structure changes. So the present structure can't adapt to the present environment. So immediately body, through mutation, it changes the structure inside so that you can cope up with the new challenges of the environment. So that is the type 2 adaptation. The type 3 adaptation is a very, very important. It may be called behavioral or physical or structural. You can bring everything together. So I would call it behavioral. So the third and more popular way of adaptation is in regard to the form of a feature that has evolved by natural selection for a specific function. For example, we include the long necks of giraffe for feeding in the top of the trees. So they must have been very short because the bushes were there. So they were having very small necks. But when other organisms came for competition, they were eating the food. So in every habitat, when there is a competition comes, and there should be one organism will disappear or go extinct. So instead of going extinct, the next best thing is to develop structure or a behavior. So the long neck, that is what giraffe is all about, because they couldn't compete with the other creatures on a low level bushes. Now the top trees are empty, nobody is eating them anyway. So the natural selection developed a long neck. Now there is no competition. So the other animals can feed at the bottom and the long neck animals can feed on the top of the tree. So that is how behavior, structural, physical, everything. It comes DNA, not only DNA and structure, also outside body, not only inside changes, inside mutations and outside changes, because it changes the DNA structure, changing the proteins and everything, and deoxyribonucleic, not only nucleic and also RNA, ribonucleic. So everything it changes. So the animal becomes brand new and adapted to the new environment. Nature is smart. Nature is smart. So also another example will be the streamlined bodies of aquatic fish and mammals, the light bones of flying birds. See, if you look at the structure of the birds, inside the bones of a bird, there no marrow you can find it. Whereas in our bones, when you open even other mammals like goat and sheep, when you open the bone, there's a marrow inside, which produces the white blood cells, even blood. So it's a very important substance packed inside the bones. There is no empty in us. Everything is packed. But examine a bird's bone next time, you see even chicken, you take and examine, there is no marrow there. It's empty, filled with air. So the birds enable them to fly easily because they are full of air inside their skeleton. So it takes only a little effort to just use the wings to propel, and just you are in the air. I always wondered, we can remove our own marrow from the bone and then probably make them hollow. Maybe you bring out another skeleton at the back, artificially made, pumped up air. Probably you require 2 wings and we can fly too. So that's a crazy idea. But anyway, this is how the natural selection operates, and also the mutations operate, and also adaptation operates. So I think the birds, maybe like I would say 125 million years back, I don't think they were birds, only reptiles, amphibians, even dinosaurs were there, I know that. But birds evolved during the time of Mesozoic era. There were 3 periods in the Mesozoic era: the Triassic, the Jurassic, the Cretaceous. So I think birds came in Triassic. There is evidence in the fossil record. We know that. So there were giant birds flying like antelopes or deer or a cow. Thank God we were not living at the time. Imagine a bird flying on your head and dropping something. You would have been covered. Not only covered, you would have been buried under the poop. But anyway, this is excellent. Adaptation is a blessing. Otherwise, we will not live. Look at the animals, the carnivores. I mean, maybe they were only vegetarian eating animal in the beginning, and slowly they developed taste for non-vegetarian lifestyle, and they developed immediately canines. What is that? The long claws, violent body structure, intimidating speed, a lot of things in behavior, in structure, in physical expressions, the inside and outside. See, adaptation is not simple. It doesn't take it in one day. It doesn't happen in one day. You have to wait sometimes millions of years in order to develop a trait which is advantageous to that particular specific species. So like that, even our own lifestyle today, we don't even think about it. The way we walk, the way we run, the way we react,